Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me, as always. We're going to continue a recent theme today, and that is talking about our special relationships here in the world and giving them over to our inner teacher, giving them over to the Holy Spirit for his purposes. In other words, for the purposes of healing the mind. That way, in summary, we can rest assured that our relationships will be used for joy and freedom rather than for guilt and pain. That's the backdrop. And it sounds simple enough. Well, it is simple. And if you're brand new or newer to A Course in Miracles, and even if you're a long time student, you'll discover something over and over again on your journey. And that is, these ideas are very simple. They are disarmingly simple, disarmingly simple. That's the point. Disarm. Now, the simplicity of these ideas we may find very, very attractive, very clear and refreshing. I don't know, you may find it to be a direct challenge. Well, that's the ego that's resisting. Always is. Any resistance, that's the ego. Count on that for sure. So we take a look at these very simple ideas and we don't put them into practice. Or if we do so with this idea that it's got to be more difficult than that. It's got to be harder. Truth can't possibly be so simple. No, no way. There's got to be something else to it. That voice should sound very familiar to all of us. What we mean to say here is that we introduce all of the complications of life ourselves. We heap them upon ourselves when we take truth, which is very simple, and we try to make it something else. We try to make it complicated, convoluted, complex, scary, mysterious, and all of that stuff. We do all of this to ourselves. And the good part here is that we can choose not to. We can. Right now, in the present moment, when else, we can choose not to complicate things. We can choose to give our entire experience and our relationships over to the Holy Spirit for the purposes of healing the mind and step aside and, well, watch him go to work if you want to. You'll be directed as to what to do. You will. You'll be directed as to where to go, if anywhere. You'll be directed as to what to say and to whom. Truly, you will. And if you've been doing it, then you'll know. So, if you're just tuning in for maybe the first time, or you've only seen a couple of these videos, you may be wondering, and it's an excellent question, what in fact do I even mean by special relationship? Okay, I mean any relationship that excludes, in essence. This can take many forms here in the world. And what we find here is we form special love relationships and special hate relationships. A special love relationship takes many forms. I mean, it could be our intimate romantic partnerships, our marriages, things like that. It could be business partnerships, familial ties, friendship ties. What's going on here is we, in these relationships, esteem or love somebody more than someone else. It's the more than separation that's relevant here. We also form what we call special hate relationships, where we love 99.9% of the people in this world, but we reserve our special hatred for that 0.1%. See where we're going with this. Both of these are inherently separation devices. Now, do not get me wrong, really. Don't get me wrong. In giving over your special relationship to the Holy Spirit, you're stepping up your game. You're deepening that relationship. I'm very happily married, and I have done just this, and I invite you to do the same. I've given my marriage to Cindy, whom many of you have heard of here on these videos. Yeah, she often pops into the comments. I've given my marriage over to the Holy Spirit. It has deepened a lot. It's happier. It's more connective. Yeah, try it. You may like it. What's relevant here is that in so doing, we're not giving over our special relationships to an outside power. You're not ceding your power. Rather, you're accessing it. You are. Even if it sounds weird, you are accessing your power. The Holy Spirit is part of our mind. It is part of you. It is not an outside force. There are no outside forces. There is no separation of any kind at all. The Holy Spirit is part of our mind. So we're invited here in our day-to-day lives to give over our relationships, all of our special relationships over to the Holy Spirit. When we do, we can be sure that they're going to be used for joy and freedom, for love, for forgiveness, rather than guilt, pain, and fear, and a continued sense of separation. We can ensure that they're going to be used for healing, for love. So we're invited to do that. What we're doing here, as we do, is very, very important. We're replacing the goal of illusions and continued suffering, continued separation, fomenting hatred and warfare, despair, guilt, all of those things that we find icky or deplorable, right, in the world, all of that. We're replacing that with the goal of truth. And what we're doing is we're replacing our wish to see illusion after illusion with the wish to see truth. We're replacing in our mind all illusions with truth. I invite you very, very strongly to consider doing this every day, as often as you think about it. Set the goal of each situation that you encounter as truth. My goal for this is truth. Every phone call, my goal for this is truth. Every session where you're sitting in front of your email inbox and you're deleting and answering emails and trying to delete as many of them as you possibly can because your inbox is crowded, right? Set the goal as truth. Everything, every time that you remember to do it. At this point, people frequently ask what, in fact, is an excellent question. And it really is. We ask it all the time in other contexts in life. So why wouldn't we ask it here? What's in it for me? Why should I care? If you're asking that, there's nothing wrong with that. Do not feel guilty, please, for asking that. That's an excellent question. Here is what's in it for you. Awakening, the peace of God. It's what we all deep down want. That's what's in it for you. This is how you experience this. This course and, well, all spiritual traditions point the way. This way is a very direct way. We're showing you how to awaken. And of course, it's up to you, as it's up to me, and it's up to each and every one of us to walk the path, in a manner of speaking, to do our forgiveness work, to set the goal of each and every situation that we encounter as truth, and to let the Holy Spirit lead. What's in it for you is awakening itself, the peace of God. Along the way, your experience here in the world will start to look a lot different. And that's huge. Peaceful. You may find yourself more certain in every arena in life. You may find yourself more loving, more patient, more forgiving. You may find that people see you and they look at you and they're drawn to you. Yes, indeed, of course they are. As you share the Holy Spirit with people, people recognize themselves. That's what's going on. And we do this under the guidance of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. And we quite honestly do as we're called or instructed to do. My own particular directive is to turn on this camera and microphone and broadcast to a global audience. That may not be your particular directive. And we all appear, after all, there are 8 billion plus of us running around here. We all appear to have different stations in life. We live in different places. We're different ages, different genders, right? We're different heights, different weights. We run in different circles here in the world. There are people out there that you will reach better than I will. You know that's true. Those are people that are meant to work with you. What that may look like is going to vary. You may not be called to start a YouTube channel and turn on a camera and microphone and broadcast. That's my directive. Yours may look completely different. Those are simply differences in outward form. The content, forgiveness, love, the miracle of true forgiveness, sharing the love of the Holy Spirit with every living thing, the content, what we're doing, the essence of it is exactly the same. The outward form differs wildly. So what? That's just a difference in form. The content remains the same. So whatever that may look like, it's pretty clear if you're tuning in for the first time or you're newer to this, that this relationship with our inner teacher is paramount. It is. This course is a self-study curriculum. we do the course under the guidance of our inner teacher. Now, it does have value to pay attention to discussions and talks such as this, because it does help us to understand the teachings on an intellectual level. I mean, it does. People can get confounded and very, very confused by attempting to understand this purely and solely and only with the intellectual thinking mind. So to pay attention to these teachings has value, but it doesn't have nearly the value that it would if you were to put them into practice, because that's where we really learn. So part of my goal each and every time these videos drop is to inspire you to put these teachings into practice in your daily life. It is through practical application that we learn best. And this is true of all spirituality, isn't it? Every tradition. It's about practical application. It is about experience. When you practice these teachings, when you put them into action in your daily life, your experience shows you that they're true. It demonstrates or proves to you the truth of everything that we're talking about. And this can be done to garner a very, very good understanding, a visceral, experiential understanding of these teachings, whether they make sense to the rational thinking mind or not. You don't even have to get it with the intellect to do it. That getting it comes from experience. And because this is a self-study curriculum, the course naturally emphasizes that. And you can always check in with the Holy Spirit and ask the Holy Spirit for help and guidance. Ask the Holy Spirit what to do in any situation. And along the way, should you have questions here, this is a perfect place to ask those. I'm here to serve as a guide for you. And along the way, well, this is spiritual practice, so questions are bound to arise. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's an integral part of the process. It's deep self-inquiry, after all. So why wouldn't they arise? So I invite them. If you have questions, please feel welcome to ask them here. And if you have not yet, please do subscribe. This is the prompt in the corner of your screen. Just click that arrow. You'll be invited to subscribe and join us. And if you are a subscriber and you want to be notified every time a new video appears here, there is that bell icon on YouTube that controls your notifications. So if you wish, you could choose to be notified. And yeah, that way you know. However, you probably already know several videos appear each week. So please subscribe if you have not. And please ask any questions if you have them. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me. I'll talk to you soon.